So, let me ask you something. Have you ever been up against a challenge that just felt impossible? Like an unwinnable battle? Maybe it was a super tough negotiation at work, a project with everything on the line. Or hey, even just trying to get your friends to agree on where to get dinner. We usually think the only way to win is to just charge straight ahead, right? To fight it out. But what if I told you that a book that's 2,500 years old, written by this almost mythical general, holds the secret to winning by not fighting at all? Well, today we are diving deep into one of the most important books on strategy ever written, Sun Tzu's The Art of War.
All right, let's just start with this one quote, because it completely flips everything we think we know about winning on its head. This isn't a rallying cry to go to war, it's a command to think. Sun Tzu is basically telling us that the ultimate victory, the real win, isn't the one you get with brute force on a battlefield. No, it's the one you win in your mind, with a strategy that's just better. It's about being so clever, so ready, that the battle is won before a single punch is thrown.
So to really understand why this ancient book feels so incredibly relevant today, I want to tell you a story. And no, it's not about some dusty old battlefield. It's about a country, a nation, caught in a terrible modern crisis, and about one person's desperate search for answers.
Okay, so picture this. The year is 2000. Colombia is being ripped apart by a violent civil conflict that's been going on for decades. Imagine you're a translator living there. The world must have felt like it was just falling apart around you. He was desperate, just looking for some kind of wisdom, anything that could make sense of all the chaos. And so he walks into a bookstore and his eyes fall on this title, The Art of War.
I mean, it's a totally fair question, right? What in the world could a general from an age of, bronze swords and war chariots teach someone about the brutal, complex conflicts of the 21st century? He must have thought he was picking up a dusty old manual on fighting tactics, on how to be more brutal. But what he actually found inside, well, there was something else entirely.
And this is what's so amazing. Instead of some gung-ho celebration of war, he found a book that was basically a giant warning sign against it. This wasn't a guide to destruction, it was a guide to preservation. Sun Tzu saw war as the absolute last resort, something to be avoided because, as he put it, long wars just drain everybody and nobody really wins. The real genius, he argued, is figuring out how to get what you want with the least amount of conflict, the least amount of cost. Yeah, he found a manual for winning smarter, not harder.
Okay, so this all begs the question, who is the person who came up with these incredible ideas? I mean, to really get the book, we have to get the man, right? And the world he lived in. So let's go back in time and meet the master strategist himself, Sun Tzu.
So Sun Tzu lived during a period in ancient China called the Spring and Autumn period. And don't let that lovely name fool you, it was anything but peaceful. This was an age of constant, brutal conflict. China was basically a chessboard of warring states, all fighting each other in a desperate, real-life Game of Thrones. For them, strategy wasn't some academic game. One wrong move and your entire kingdom could be erased. It was this chaos, this high-stakes world that forged Sun Tzu's incredible practical wisdom. Sun Tzu's whole thing was this. Before you even think about starting a conflict, you have to do your homework. You have to be an expert at assessment. So he laid out these 5 fundamental factors. You can think of it like his ultimate strategic checklist. And this is what's so brilliant about him. He understood that winning wasn't just about having more soldiers or bigger weapons. It was about everything. It's about your mission, the weather, the terrain, your leadership, and your team's discipline. You have to score yourself on all 5, and then you have to do the same for your opponent.
Let's zoom in on that very first one, Tao, or the way, because honestly, it's the foundation for everything else. Now, the way sounds a little mystical, but it's not. It's really simple. It's your purpose. It's the mission. It's that powerful shared belief that brings a group of people together and makes them something more. When a team has Tao, its people are so completely on the same page that they'll face anything together, no questions asked.
And you see this all around us today, right? Think about a startup company where everyone's pulling all-nighters, not because the boss told them to, but because they are all completely obsessed with what they're building. That's Tao. Or think about a championship sports team, one that plays with that insane chemistry where they just know what the other person is going to do. That's Tao. It's like this invisible energy that just makes a team unstoppable.
All right, now we're getting to the real core of the book. These are the powerful, game-changing ideas that have been studied by everyone. We're talking generals, CEOs, coaches, heck, even video game designers for literally hundreds of years. So here it is, maybe the most famous idea in the whole book. For Sun Tzu, the deadliest weapon you have isn't a sword or an arrow. It's knowledge. It's information. I mean, just look at this logic. It's so simple, but so powerful. If you know yourself and you know your enemy, you'll win every time. If you only know yourself, well, it's a 50-50 shot. And if you know neither, you're going into that fight completely blind, and you've already lost. See, for him, preparation and knowing your stuff, that's not just part of the fight. It is the fight.
And if knowledge is your weapon, then deception is how you use it. Sun Tzu is all about becoming a master of illusion. You have to control what your opponent thinks is happening. It's like a great magic trick, right? The magician makes you look at their right hand, while the real trick is happening with their left. You want to be unpredictable, to be, as he says, formless, like water. It can't be grabbed, it can't be pinned down. That way, your opponent is always reacting to you. They're playing your game by your rules.
So you might be asking, why does this super old book keep showing up on the must-read lists for some of the most successful people on the planet? Well, it's because these ideas aren't just about war. They're about competition. And whether you're leading an army or launching a new app or just trying to get ahead in your career, you're in a competitive world. The fundamental rules of strategy, it turns out, just don't change.
I mean, look around you. From a business negotiation to a courtroom drama, all the way to your favorite video game, these principles are everywhere. When a lawyer maps out every possible move the other side could make, that's Sun Tzu. When a football coach pores over game tape to find one tiny weakness in the other team's defense, that's Sun Tzu. When a pro gamer baits their opponent into a perfectly laid trap in an esports match, yep, you guessed it, that's Sun Tzu. It all comes down to the same things: preparation, smart positioning, and a whole lot of psychology.
And this brings us right back to that incredible idea from the very beginning. This is the ultimate goal, the peak of strategic mastery. Look, winning in direct fight is fine, but being so prepared, so smart, having a position so strong that your opponent just looks at the situation and decides, you know what, it's not even worth trying. That is genius. That's the supreme art he was talking about. The win happens without a single shot fired. It's quiet, it's efficient, and it's total.
So I want to leave you with this. Think about the biggest battle you're facing in your own life right now. Maybe it's a tough project at work, a goal you're trying to reach, or just a personal challenge you need to overcome. The wisdom of the art of war asks us to pause, to take a step back, and to ask ourselves some different questions. Is there a smarter way to do this? Can I win this with better preparation instead of brute force? Is there a way to completely reframe this whole thing so that a big, messy fight isn't even necessary? Because that is the real secret of this book. It's not just a guide on how to fight, it's a masterclass in how to think.